So where to start on this? Uh, this is was my current tank, my main tank, and this is the 140 litre 4-foot tank that I always mention. 140 litres, not very much, not very big, for a 4-foot tank anyway. So as I've always said before, the depth and height isn't great. And this video is going to be about the upgraded tank that I bought. So I bought a much larger tank, more than double, nearly triple the size of this in total water volume. And the reason for this is because I really like Bozeman rainbow fish. You can see here I have 3 males with the yellow second half of the body and the blue first half. And I really like these fish, and they grow to about 5 inches. So I needed a bigger tank. So I'm going to go through changing this tank to the new tank. So rather than having 2 tanks, I'm going to take this one down and put the new tank up. So I've just got 1 main tank instead of 2. So all the plants came out first, then the fish, and then the gravel. And these were put in a large bucket whilst I put the new tank in place. Now this is the new tank with the sump. The sump's on the floor, and there's a new tank, 300 litres and a 100 litre sump. That's 400 litres in total. Now this was hard plumbed. I cut the pipes myself and plumbed them in. Did a dry fit and then solvent welded them in. So this is the stand. I did a video just on the stand, so you can watch that if you want to see more about the stand. So the pipes basically have 2 overflows and then 1 intake. So 2 outtakes, 1 intake. So the water gets pumped from the sump into the main tank and then overflows out back into the sump. So it's like a cycle. And I have 2 large overflows just in case one blocks. And this is the first time I've tested it. So I solvent welded all the pipes together and then just turned it on, basically turned the pump on, and it pumped the water up into the main tank and then overflows out into the sump below. So here you can see the whole thing running, and it basically went wrong. What I did was, whilst I was messing about with the pump, is what I think happened. Whilst I was messing about with the pump there, trying to get it into the right position, I must have cracked the bottom of the sump, the bottom tank, without realising. And it must have leaked very slow, because once I checked the sump and I seen the water, because I had to go to work the next day, so in the morning I checked and there's a bit of water in the stand, and I just thought, oh, maybe it's just water from messing about. I put some towels there. I thought it just dripped out whilst I was messing with the sponges and that and getting it set up. And then I come home on the night time from work and it was absolutely soaked through. So I figured out that I had cracked the sump, and you can imagine how annoyed I was. And it's primarily annoying because the fish are in the tank and they're the number 1 priority, and you can't really mess about with it when you've got the fish there, you know what I mean? It's not just a tank full of water, it's a tank full of water and fish. So I just put the fish in because I can't spend days in a bucket, so the fish are in. And I put some of the plants in for now, just so they can hide and have some sort of cover to feel safe. So this is actually before I knew, well, before I cracked the sump. The thing with this tank and with the sump is I didn't really like it. So here it's running fine as can be anywhere, and I didn't like it, wasn't happy with it, even though it was working fine. The reasons being because the pipes at the back were really big and it pushed the tank out from the wall quite a lot. Now it's only a small living room, and it's sort of like a cozy small living room, and it really did push the tank out from the wall, and I just wasn't really that happy with it. Another thing was the gurgling noise. Basically, the drains where the water overflows into the pipes were drilled too high, so the water made a lot of noise when it was running down the pipes. And I googled it for days, hours and hours of research trying to get them to work, and in the end there wasn't really any proper solution. It's just the fact, I didn't use a weir. A weir is one of those boxes that controls the water level with the little notches in. I didn't use one of them. I just thought I'd whack 2 plastic drains over the overflows and that'd be okay. But it just wasn't good enough. So even here, I'm putting the stones in, I'm gonna put all my plants back in, but I just really wasn't that happy with it. Here's the cracked sump. Once it leaked, thought, right, get the sump out, see if the sump's cracked, and you can see there's the crack, and it basically goes from one end to the other end. And by this point I was just really frustrated. I waited like 10 weeks for the tank. I waited another couple of weeks to set it up, to get all the parts and everything. Spent so much money, on filter media, the tank, the pipes, extra pipe parts, the sump, the pump as well, just everything. And it just got really frustrating. I had a wet carpet. That was the biggest thing. I've got like carpet in the living room and it's just soaked through. And I was just so annoyed just at the whole thing. I just wanted to bin it all, just skip the lot. Obviously not the fish, but both the tanks, just burn it. But no, I persevered through it. And I thought, you know what I'm gonna do? I thought, I don't need a sump. I really don't. So here's where the tank was, and the carpet's wet. It took about a week to dry, and so I moved the tank over to the other side temporarily. And I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna whack a canister filter on it, like a normal tank. I'm gonna run it as a normal tank. So of course, like I said before, the fish can't live in a bucket for more than a couple of hours, especially when you've got like 5-inch fish. And by the way, the bucket I'm talking about was 60 litres, it was a big bucket, but still you can't. So I moved the tank over to the other side of the room while the carpet dries and set the tank right back up, heater, filter, light. And all the plants, as you can see, are in a bundle, just floating in the water. And this is because, I'm not going to put all the gravel back in and all the plants back in whilst the carpet dries and then move it all back again. So I left the gravel out and I just whacked the plants in there, floating. Now, whilst the carpet dried, it took about a week. Most of my plants died off, more than half, which was a bit annoying as well. So, you can imagine how annoyed I was. But I was quite happy because I knew what I was going to do, the solution, I was going to put a canister filter on it, dry the carpet, move it all back and run it as a normal tank. You know, I was quite relieved. And also, if I'm running a canister filter, it's quiet because the sump was so loud, but the canister filter would run quiet and it wouldn't push the tank from the wall so far, which was great as well. So, you know, I had to net the fish quite a few times. I wasn't happy about doing that, you know, in the tank, in the bucket, from the bucket back into the tank. I wasn't happy doing that. But, you know, the fish seemed fine. And the most sensitive fish I have are the otocinclus. I have 6 of those. They're quite small at the back. They eat the algae and things like that. I was worried about those. Maybe I thought I'd maybe lose 1 or 2 of those, but lost none of them. They're absolutely fine. All the fish were absolutely fine. And because I had all the plants in a bundle, there's just one of the otocinclus and the Siamese algae eaters. Got 3 of those. But because the plants were in a bundle, floating at the top in the corner, the rainbow fish quite liked that, and I'm sure they started, you know, mating, spawning, chasing each other in the plants. So they were happy. So I was happy. You know, the water quality was fine. So I thought, right, I'm just going to leave it like this for a week, let the carpet dry, let the fish settle down a bit before I move it back. See the fish here, all up in the plants. The females really displaying some crazy colours. The females got really dark, especially that big female in the plants there. She got really dark at times, and then the males below, you can see the striping pattern. So they were, you know, mating or whatever. Obviously, I didn't get any eggs or anything like that, but you can see them there, quite happy. So most of my crypts died, the plants. The crypts had different sorts of crypts. They died. A lot of Amazon sword died as well. But plants don't cost much really to replace. So the only issue I had left was these big holes that are drilled into the top of the tank. I couldn't fill the water up to the top because obviously it would overflow out the holes. So I'm left with these 55mm holes, 2 55mm and 1 35mm. This is where the pipes came through. So because I want this tank to function like a normal tank without the sump now, fed up with the sump, binned it off, running this canister filter. I bought all new canister filter parts so it looked new, new pipes, everything. Binning the sump off, binning the pipes off. So now I've just got to block up these holes so that I can use the tank as a normal tank, because it is a really nice tank. It's a beautiful tank, but you know, it's just getting there, getting it to work, because I had holes drilled in the back. So this is actually the solution. Now this is very ugly, to be honest. 2 pieces of glass siliconed over the holes. So you can see the holes through the glass, and you can see the silicone, and this is the correct way to do it, I think. This is not going to leak, I hope. It's not. It won't leak. Loads of silicone all around the edges, and you know, holding the glass to the glass. It's basically leak proof, but it's just horrible. It looks ugly. I'm not that happy with it at all. I don't think you'll see it though once the algae covers it and the plants cover it. But I am thinking that in the future, maybe next year, because it's November now, so maybe next year I'll order the same tank again, without the holes, without the sump, without the pipes, exactly the same tank. And because it hasn't got all those things, it will cost half the price, because it is just a standard tank now. So I might order a new one, just because I don't like the glass covering those holes. So, you know, I tried. I wanted the best tank I could get, meaning, you know, a a huge sump, huge pipes. I just really wanted it to be the best that I could make, but I just think when you've got a small living room with carpet, I don't have a fish room, I don't have concrete floors without carpet, I don't have drains in the floors. So if it leaks, if anything leaks, it's a bit of a problem. So I thought, let's just keep it simple, keep it safe, use the canister filter. So now this is about a week later. This is set up now. The carpet dried. It's in the right position. I bought a ton of new plants, eBay, local fish shop, new vallis. I actually had another 24 bunches of vallis put in just after I recorded this. They got delivered from eBay, and I've just replanted the back again. So adding to that back section, and you can see the glass at the top left there by the output of the canister filter. But it's not leaking. The water is right up past the glass, covering the holes. It's right up to the top, how it should be. It's looking really nice. The fish are happy. The plants are okay now so far. So this is basically the finished setup. Obviously less plants. Um, this is what the tank's going to look like. Obviously all the plants have only just been put in. The old plants are a bit dead, and the new plants haven't taken yet. So give it a month, I'd say a month or 2 months for these plants to really grow in, really take, and they'll just fill that back wall, and now the vallis will be all at the top. So I've had pieces of vallis that grow to like 2 meters in length. You know what I mean? They go from one end of the tank back to the other, back round. So the vallis will really take to that, and it'll look really nice. Just feeding the fish here, you can see they're happy. I don't think they've realised what's going on. It's me that's dealt with all the stress, but you do it to yourself, don't you? Put yourself in that situation. You just got to overcome it. Keep calm. Not that I kept calm, but yeah, you just got to carry on. And at the end of the day, they're fish, they're live animals. You can't just give up. You have to sort out the problem. The issue. So if I do get a new tank to replace this one, it should be a very simple process. Swap one out, put the new one in, put the plants back in, fish. It should be fine. And by the time it gets delivered, I should be alright. I should be in the mood to do it again. Because at the moment, it's staying where it is. I'm just showing you these custom lids that I make. Had these on my old tank as well, and then bought new ones. So these are like vivarium sliders off eBay. 4-foot vivarium sliders, 2 slots, 6mm slots, and then 2 pieces of 6mm polycarbonate. That's my little electric heater. Yeah, 2 sheets of polycarbonate, and I'll just slide them so I can feed them, access the top of the tank. I've even got a little stool to step up to so I can reach the top of the tank. It's quite a big tank, what I'm used to anyway. So Otto Sinkless there, happy. And the rest of the fish fairly happy as well. Not once did they stop eating. They're always eating. So that's a good sign. Just showing you the dreaded holes now. I'm quite a perfectionist, and it just gets to me when things aren't right. So I know it's going to bug me, and I'm going to have to sort it out because I'm not happy with it. So that's the story of the tank. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I posted quite a lot of what was going on, the trauma. No, I'm only joking, but yeah, I posted quite a lot, the pictures and that. And I've just eventually got round to making a video. So this now is my new main tank, and I'm happy with it so far. It's really nice. So thanks for watching this video, and if you want to see the future updates on this tank and my other tanks, then please subscribe. Thanks for watching.